Approach, my Ariel, come!
All hail, great mistress, grave one, hail. I come to answer thy best pleasure be to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds. To thy strong and bidding task, Ariel and all her quality.
Hath thou spirit performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I boarded the king's ship, now in the beak, now in the waist of the deck. In every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometimes I divide and burn in many places. On the topmast, the yard, and the bowsprit would I flame distinctly, and then meet and join. Jove's lightnings, the precursors of the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary and sight outrunning, were not. Fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege, and make his bold waves tremble. Yea, his dread trident shake.
My brave spirit, who was so firm, so constant that this coil would not infect his reason.
Not a soul but felt the fever of the mad, and played some tricks of desperation. All but mariners plunged into the foaming brine and quit the vessel, then all the fire with me. The king's son Ferdinand, with hair up staring, then like reeds, not hair, was the first man that leapt, cried, "Hell is empty and all the devils are here!"
Why, that's my spirit. But was not this nigh shore?
And close by, my mistress.
But are they Ariel safe?
Not a hair perished, and on their sustaining garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me, in troops I have dispersed them about the isle. The king's son Ferdinand have I landed by himself, whom I left cooling the air with sighs, in some odd angle of the island sitting, his arms in this sad knot.
The king's ship, the mariners, say how thou hast disposed in all the rest of the fleet.
Safely in the harbor is the king's ship, in the deep nook where once thou calledst me up at midnight to fetch you dew from the still vexed vermouths. There she is hid. And the mariners, all under hatches stowed, who, with a charm, joined their separate labor, I have left asleep. And as for the rest of the fleet, which I dispersed, they have met again, and are upon the Mediterranean float, bound sadly home for Naples, supposing they saw the king's ship wracked and his great person perish.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed. But there is more work. What is the time of the day?
Past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses. The time twixt 6 and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee, what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now, moody? What itch thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Before the time be out?
No more, I prithee. I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakings, served without grudge or grumblings. Thou didst promise to bate me a full year.
Dost thou forget? From what a torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou dost, and thinkst it much to tread with the ooze of the salt, to run upon the sharp wind of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth when it is baked with frost.
I do not.
Thou liest, malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who her age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, ma'am.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak. Tell me!
Ma'am, in Argier.
Oh, was she so? I must once in a month recount what thou hast been, which thou gettest. This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible to enter human hearing, from Argier thou knowest was banished. For one thing she did, and would not take her life. Is not this true?
Aye, ma'am.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with a child, and here was left by the saviors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportst thyself, was then first served. And for thou wast a spirit too delicate to enact her earthy and abhorred commands, refusing her grand hest, she did confine thee, with help of her more potent ministers, and in her most unmitigable rage into a cloven pine, within which rift in prison thou didst painfully remain a dozen years, within which space she died, and left thee there, where thou didst vent thy groans as fast as Milton struck. Then was this island, save for the sun she did litter here, a freckled old hag born not honored with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
Then I say so. He, that Caliban whom now I keep in service. Thou best knowest from what a torment I did find thee in. Thy groans did make wolves howl and penetrate the breasts of ever angry bears. It was a torment to lay upon the damned, which Sycorax could not again undo. It was by mine art when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, mistress.
If thou more murmurest, I'll rend an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, mistress. I will be correspondent to command and do my spriting gently.
Do so. And after 2 days I will discharge thee.
That's my noble mistress. What shall I do? Say what? What shall I do?
Go, make yourself like a nymph of the sea. Be subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go take this shape and come hither in. Go, hence with diligence.